Well, I have good news for you today. The good news today is about becoming invisible. And I would like to begin today by just sharing a little trick with you that I know most of you have seen before, but we know that on any given church service, about a third of the people in our congregation are not present because they're mobile and they're at the beach or they're at the mountains, or they're visiting, or they're we're in the medical field and they're called into the hospital or whatever. So we know that not everybody's seen this illustration, but we're talking about becoming invisible, being visible and invisible. And we're going to make this handkerchief disappear. I hope. All right. Just want you to see there's nothing here. Here's the handkerchief. And, of course, we're going to say abracadabra and all that stuff. And we're just going to make this disappear the best possible way we can. And let's see what it's still here. We'll just see if we can push it down into this fist and see if somehow or another, if we say the right words, if we can make it disappear. Is it in this hand? No. Is it in this hand? No. Is it in either hand? No. It has disappeared. It has become invisible. Well, becoming invisible, that's something that's special. And we would like for you to participate in the sermon today. So we want to make sure everybody got a clicker, because we're going to ask you two questions. We're not going to use it right now, but yours looks like this, only it's a different color. It should be white. If you don't have a clicker, raise your hand and we'll get you one. Okay, just keep them raised and we'll have an usher give you a clicker, because we would like for you to be able to participate in the surveys when we take them. We have just two today. And when you get it, if you want to just push the bottom button on or off and make sure that yours is working, you should have a little blue light. Occasionally the batteries get jiggled and you have to kind of just tap it a little bit and get it to come on. Or sometimes the batteries are bad and it needs to be changed. So make sure you have a blue light so you can participate in the survey. Now you notice that today we're talking about becoming invisible, and we're talking also about being visible. Being visible, being invisible. Now you see it, now you don't, that kind of thing. And one of the things that we noticed about the church is that there is a visible church and there is an invisible church. And if you have a chance to go by the Church of the Solid Rock, I don't know, Steve, maybe you've seen this church. It's just outside of Cincinnati. I know you're from that area. Just outside of Cincinnati on Interstate 75, as you're driving up toward Dayton, there's this sculpture at this church. And this sculpture is 62 feet tall. It took 8,000 man-hours to build it. It weighs 8 tons, and it's called the King of Kings. It's the largest sculpture of Christ in America, and it's on the front of your bulletins as well as on the screen today. This church is visible. You can see the church, you can see the sculpture, and they purposely spent all this money so that the church would be more visible to people, because along the interstate, if they just had a little sign out, no one would bother even paying much attention. But since they have this big sculpture, it's kind of a big deal. This is the visible church. Orange Coast Church wants to be visible too. And so we have an internet presence. We also have flyers advertising different programs and the internet. We have the U.S. mail. Some of you receive birthday cards from us once a year, and you receive the newsletter. The March newsletter came out today, and if you are not here today to get it in person, then we mail it to you. And we also use signs. When you came down Oak Canyon Road today, you saw a sign that said Orange Coast Church this direction, and when you pulled in to the parking lot, there's a sign about Orange Coast Church. We spend over $100 a month to advertise in the Yellow Pages. We also spend money for the newspaper to make sure that people know where we are. And we have special days, special events, special programs. We have health fairs and other things that let people know that Orange Coast Church is here. And we kind of go out of the way to make the church visible in the community. And we have all the ministries that you're aware of that are taking place. We let people know we're here, and we operate in this great country of ours in total freedom and total visibility. It's like, okay, now you see them, but then you don't. Because if you go to certain places in the world today, the church is invisible. You look around, you can't find it. It's not there. Becoming invisible, well, could be a good thing, usually isn't. I remember a while back, if I go back far enough, I have to go back to high school days when I was dating, and I wanted to become invisible. You see, I liked this girl. We had classes together. We had become friends. We joked around a lot, and one day I got up enough courage to ask her out. And she smiled sweetly at me, and she said, "Oh, Ken, that's so nice, but I don't want to ruin our friendship. Let's just be friends." Yeah, I wanted to disappear. I wanted to sink into the floor and just become invisible. And sometimes, you know, I'm preaching and I'm looking for a word and I can't find it. Oh, no, what's this deadly pause all about? Where's that word? What's the word I'm searching for? It's not there. I'd like to just become invisible. And then there was that time when I was a senior in high school and I was playing football with a Christian college, and we had intramural sports, and we didn't do tackle football, but we had flag football. And the quarterback threw me a pass, and I caught it, and I was running for a touchdown, and the defender was hot on my trail, and in one last desperate leap, he jumped, and he threw his body out, and he grabbed for the flag that I wore around my waist, and he missed the flag, but he got my pants. He fell to the ground, and so did my pants. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to disappear. From time to time, we want to become invisible. If you could be invisible, would you? Well, we can get out our clickers and we can answer that question. How many of you would like to be invisible? Just think, well, you could actually go on a date with your kids. You could be invisible and know what they're doing. You could go into a room and somebody could be talking about you and they wouldn't even know you. If you could be invisible from time to time, not all the time, but would you? Turn on your clickers, make sure you have a blue light, and you can answer the questions.